crap, I am late to the party. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4 concluded the season a few days ago. I know this review is delayed and I apologize for that. I had a few things to think about because I don't want to just do a review because in this season particularly, the finale made something rare happen. And this is something that at least to me doesn't happen quite often, and that is I'm much more interested to talk about the possible future than to talk about what just happened. I am still going to review the season in more of a quick fashion, but I really want to talk about what that shocking finale leads us into. By the way, if you're new to this channel, TV reviews always have spoilers. So Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4, you can tell from the writing alone that they tried to do something different in this season, and that is divide the season in 3 different movies in this case. We had the Ghost Rider movie, we had the LMDs movie, and then we had the Framework movie. I liked it. I like how they divided and did not stretch the storylines too long, but also at some points, something in them felt dragged and rushed. Felt too dragged when it came to the beginning of a storyline and presenting the new storylines going on and presenting the new elements of said storylines. But then as it's reached its conclusion, each storyline felt like it was rushing because we ended up enjoying them. At least I talk about me and people I know about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that I talk to them, and we really do seem to take a while to get into these storylines, but then we end up really enjoying them. I'm not going to get into the acting because Chloe Bennett is great, Clark Gregg is great, Ming-Na Wen is great, Brett Dalton, we'll talk about him, he's great, and also Ian Det Castellababa. I know he's Ian, I know he's De, and I know he's cast something else. But the Ghost Rider storyline, the storyline that everyone loved and everyone is super excited about to have Ghost Rider on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it was alright. I don't dislike the storyline, but it did nothing for me because the finale of the season 3 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we had S.H.I.E.L.D. running away, she had some mental demons to fight, and I really wanted this season to start and us focusing on her and possibly her versus the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then we got Ghost Rider, and it was alright. It was an alright storyline. I did not like that we get S.H.I.E.L.D. shoved to the side and focus on Ghost Rider. I mean, you could have had Ghost Rider, but focus on S.H.I.E.L.D. like you should, and don't shove any other person in our face, and have S.H.I.E.L.D. just looking from the back saying, "Hi, I'm also here too, and I used to be the main character." Also, I am not a fan of the Robbie Reyes character. I think it was well handled on the show in terms of faithfulness to the comics and the character being who he should be. I like all that is all fine and dandy. I'm just not a fan of the character itself. The villain in this part of the season was also very weak. We were leading up to Radcliffe being the villain because he was going to be the villain in the LMD storyline. Robbie Reyes' uncle as the villain, I mean, I never got an ounce of threat for him. Maybe it's because this actor usually plays secondary villains, just guys who usually die, and I got that vibe from the character alone, not necessarily the actor. I never felt truly a threat for him. I never doubted that Ghost Rider or the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. were going to defeat him. Also, you do not tease the one and true great Ghost Rider Johnny Blaze in just a cameo. So yeah, the first storyline in S.H.I.E.L.D. I wasn't a big fan of, but it was alright. It was not bad by any means. And then we lead up to the LMD storyline. For us who are fans of Westworld, this kind of worked, not all the way through. I like what it gave to the character of May. I like how she evolved. I like how we learned more about Ada, and I like seeing John Hannah play a villain because he's probably my favorite villain in TV history as Quintus Batiatus. But Coulson also gained a lot from this storyline, and their relationship also grew, which I really liked. But again, this is probably the slowest storyline to develop because we got near to nothing in terms of where were they going to go with this, and they really gave us no clue. It was just episode after episode after episode. Okay, we thought these people were real, now it turns out they're not, they're LMDs. So these people in the next episode were not real either, and they were LMDs all along. And then in the next episode you find out that some people were the LMDs all along, and it was just really weird, and you did not know whatsoever how they were going to handle this, what they wanted to say with this. It just seemed like they have no direction. It was alright for entertainment, but I want my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to have something more like they used to, at least in terms of character, and they did have it to Phil Coulson and Agent May That's it. Before I forget and advance to the framework storyline, I really like Jason O'Mara in this. I really like him. I was expecting him to dress in the US agent. I really wanted it. It didn't happen. But he was really cool. His character was very well done. His character was very well written throughout the show. Probably the most consistently well written character in this season. And he only wins because the following character I'm going to talk about only came in the framework storyline, which is probably my favorite storyline because Ada was a phenomenally well written villain. I like her vulnerability then at the end when she becomes human and she has to talk to Fitz and she loves him, and these heroes have to make such great sacrifices because they like their lives in the framework after all. And then especially Mac with his daughter Hope, and then Yo-Yo having to go and get him. That stuff was really heavy. But Fitz as well with his father and being this mean streak dude that just wants to kill and hails Hydra all along. I really liked what they gave to Fitz because it gave the actor an opportunity to expand his range, and it really did that very well in my opinion. Also, Simmons went through a lot in this season, suffering throughout, and her relationship with Fitz that had finally been established, and then comes Ada and this framework shit, and she gets all that torn down and she has to fight for her friends, and she kind of became the main character for a while. But who really stole the show, because he was great, and honestly when I first saw him I wanted to shoot myself because I thought, not this again, was Ward. Ward was so well done. Ward was probably my favorite character when he was around in the framework because it gave us a new dimension of Ward. Yes, we thought he was a good guy when the show started, but there was a time of the show where we did not really care about him, and it did not really give the character an opportunity to shine, nor the actor an opportunity to really do something special. In here we have that perception that we don't trust him, and now we really see that he's trying to prove that he is a good guy. He is trying to prove his worth to Skye and to Coulson and to May and to S.H.I.E.L.D. in general, and to the director himself, which also that was a great sacrifice, and we have May learn from his sacrifice, and I always like when a character learns from the sacrifice of the other. But then the season ends, they kill Ada, they destroy the framework, they save Mac, they save Skye, they save Coulson, they save May, everything's resolved, but the government is after S.H.I.E.L.D. because they supposedly attempted on Talbot's life, even though they didn't because that was an LMD. S.H.I.E.L.D., they're having dinner, they're all together celebrating, in comes these dudes we don't see the face of, and then they stop time, apparently for the engines of S.H.I.E.L.D. Then Coulson wakes up, he looks on the window, he sees space and asteroids and constellations and stars, and he doesn't even react. His normal reaction is, that's pretty. Cool, I'd do that if I woke up in space too. I would not. And Coulson just tells the computer that they have to go to work. So now, let's talk about the future. This gives me a lot of theories because we, for one, know that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is changing times again. I think it's going back 1 hour earlier. Correct me if I'm wrong, that's the only thing I'm not sure of. 1 hour earlier, and then they're moving to Friday nights, which usually is the time and the day for series to be killed off. This is a special case. I don't think they want to kill off Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I do think they renewed it for a new season, and they want this new season to be the last one. But I do not think they want to just kill it off, because it is also changing times in terms of the year calendar, because Inhumans is coming. So here's my number one theory, and not the one that I'm necessarily the most fond of. They are going to look for the Inhumans. They are on their way to Adelan, which, in this MCU, might not be just a city hovering above New York. Adelan in this might be a whole new planet, a whole new dimension, something else in the multiverse, which we were introduced to in Doctor Strange, and in the season we had the Darkhold, and we had the references to Doctor Strange all throughout the season, and magic and whatnot. So they might be going to search for the Inhumans, which the Inhumans will be also on Friday nights, and then they will hit the break when winter comes, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will come back while the Inhumans are on break. So I think that's a very well done blending of both series, introducing each series to another and introducing a new series to us, the audience. Another theory I have is one that is not necessarily a full full-fledged theory because, on one hand, this theory basically says that I have no idea where they're going, I have no idea what is happening, but maybe this is something to keep them off air, both to us, the audience, and in a frame of a movie and a TV series, and they are going to be presented into Infinity War. If anything should be presented in Infinity War, is Coulson being back to the Avengers. And if they want to end the show after Infinity War, well then maybe Coulson should really die at the hands of Thanos. But there's one problem with this theory, and that is that, 1, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. comes back before Infinity War, number 2, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ends before Infinity War, so I don't really know if this is what they want to do, if this is why they sent them into space, why they would already present this and do it this way, because Thanos arrives, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. go and help the Avengers, they clash, somebody dies. It would be much easier. So this theory basically suggests they are out there to be presented into Infinity War. In which way, I don't know how. But now, number 3 is my favorite theory. There's a storyline a few years ago in the comics that is called the Original Sin storyline. It's not that great of a storyline. It involves the Watchers, and the Watchers were just introduced in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, so there's some credibility there. There's some foundation on this theory already. And that storyline presents as Nick Fury, the original white Nick Fury, as the villain. He had contact with the Watchers, and even though the Watchers were only supposed to observe and report and not interfere, Nick Fury wanted to interfere, so he starts killing Watchers and taking their eyes and observe all of the universe to protect it, and he is known as the Man on the Wall. This storyline also introduces to what would eventually become the new only Nick Fury, because this guy dies, and he's what usually would be the ultimate Nick Fury, but now he's in the 616 universe. But also, funnily enough, Phil Coulson was introduced to the comics in this very storyline. This storyline then evolves to Nick Fury fighting the Avengers and whatnot, and the Avengers end up killing Nick Fury, this guy. Bucky Barnes becomes the Man on the Wall, and he travels the universe, and this generated a whole new series of the Winter Soldier, which is not great, so don't bother reading it. But the original storyline has its good elements. However, I do think that this finale actually introduces us to the notion that maybe Phil Coulson is the Man on the Wall. He unchained, he unraveled a whole lot of events that were actually bad, maybe the Terrigens and Mists, so good things could happen. In a sense, if Phil Coulson is the Man on the Wall, he did that, he turned S.H.I.E.L.D. into an Inhuman because he wanted it to have powers to help S.H.I.E.L.D., to help people, to be like a superhero like the Avengers. That's my theory, flawed as it may be an adaptation of the Original Sin storyline. And it will be kind of cathartic because, again, Phil Coulson was introduced to the comics as a friend of Nick Fury in this storyline. In these ideas that I'm running right here in this kooky head of mine, I think this would be the most fun to be had on the show, especially if they involve the Inhumans, because there may be some contacts with the Inhumans already that the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. don't even know about. This season was good in terms of how they adapted storylines, and how they did not stretch 1 or 2 storylines throughout one entire season. They divided it into mini films, mini sagas, and for the most part they did well. Our heroes grow and progress, they are very well written. The show itself was very well written, apart from the endings and the beginnings, except the framework. I thought the framework did very well and actually was the most consistent of them all. I don't think the Ghost Rider one was great or very good either. I don't think the LMD one had really a point to it, only a transition one into the framework from Ghost Rider to the framework. But overall, this is a very enjoyable season. Our agents keep doing what we love them to do, relationships progress, characters' complexities progress, and I do like Season 3 a little bit more, but this does not deter from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and it gets the same grade of a martini. It is a good time, anytime. What did you think of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4, my beautiful geekies? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Is it your favorite season? Let me know what you think about my theories. Let me know your own theories for the future of this show. Are you excited about the time change? The day change? Let me know all of that. What are you expecting for the Season 5 of this show? What are you expecting for Season 1 of the Inhumans? Let me know all that in the comments below. And as you go down there, click the description box to go and check the beautiful Geeky Community Facebook group, where you can meet many awesome geekies and many beautiful people in general. I have a movie review coming for you tomorrow and this week, Arrow and the Flash and maybe the 100, so I'll do reviews for that. So until then, you stay beautiful and you stay geeky, and if you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button and the bell so you can be geeky united!